the bacchanal. Cock up your foot, put your two hand on your head. We come out here early to run it red. I drunk with pride and I don't want to see no bed. Nobody can tell me to stop. Hey girlfriend, go down in the center. 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 Hey, Mama, la be on TV, company.
You need to play the old stuff a little bit more.
Yeah, we will. Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Anna ESKAMANI. Let me give you the right handle. Representative, Florida Representative, Miss Anna ESKAMANI. Thank you
Good
for
morning. Thanks for
so
having
much.
me.
What? Listen, we've been trying to get you all this time, okay?
That is on me. I'm so happy we can finally find the time.
Well, I gotta commend you for not everybody goes through their spam folder. I don't.
I try. I lose so many good emails all the time through spam. So I make it an effort to check like at least once a month, just to make sure I didn't miss something.
Well, I appreciate that because that's how she found the email. She went through spam, and she was able to find the email of the invitation to be on the show. So we are live on iTunes Radio. The show is in repeat mode this evening on Soca Passion TX, which is out of Texas.
Awesome.
And then tomorrow on islandbeatradio.net, which is back here in Florida. And we're doing something this month that I haven't put out there yet, but it's going to take the show up another notch, where we're extracting segments of the show. Well, every show we're going to extract segments and put it on this other platform that I'm not going to say just yet, but it's outside of Florida.
Oh, so exciting.
So let's get started.
Sounds perfect. I'm ready.
Okay, so I've encouraged those, we have listeners on the Facebook live stream. I've encouraged them to also put questions under there if they have one, but I also reached out to some friends, and we have 3 questions on here from Mr. Ryvan Campbell from Barbados, living here in Orlando. So, commend you for responding to my email. My analysis is that the Republican poor vote, but always against their interests.
Right.
The Democratic poor stay home and don't vote. Right? So what is being done by the Dems to help voters connect the dots to what is going on in their lives and the fact that they do stay home and vote?
That's such a great question to start the conversation. And for folks who don't know, I was actually first elected in 2018. So I'm still kind of one of the newer lawmakers, if you will, in the state of Florida. I'm 33 years old, so I'm also one of the younger lawmakers in the state. And for me, it's about doing the work. It is about doing the work. I think Democrats have done a really bad job in helping to inspire people. I mean, I'll be real, girl. Like, we can't expect people to vote for us just because we have a D next to our name. And Democrats have historically, I would say the last 10 to 20 years that I've been involved, made an assumption that women will vote for us, that communities of color will vote for us, that immigrants will vote for us. Because we are the main party that champions these issues. But at the end of the day, you have to earn the trust of everyday people. You can't just pretend like it's there, like you've done the work. And so I look at what our team does. We are 24/7 delivering constituent services. In fact, this morning we were in the historic town of Eatonville and we hosted a community cleanup. We picked up hundreds of pounds of trash to beautify the neighborhood. And then, of course, I'm responding to emails about issues with food stamps, Medicaid, unemployment benefits. We're trying to help small businesses with different issues. So we really have to walk the talk, right? And then when it comes to policy, we need to think big. Democrats are always just talking about what we don't want and not telling the story of what we want. And so we have to communicate that to a larger audience. And the last point I'll make is going back to basics. So I take a lot of pride in prioritizing on the ground activities. So we are knocking on doors, we're registering voters, we're talking about local government, because so much attention goes to DC, which is important, but everyday people are impacted by what happens in the state legislature. So I try to also help empower people to see the value of local government so they also understand the importance of their vote.
So I always, well, not always, but you're probably not going to remember this, but I met you when they had the straw vote in West Orlando, the last election. And
yes,
Maxwell Frost introduced us because I've known Max since he was yay high.
He was a baby.
Yeah, he literally was a baby. Because I've known the family that long. But
wow,
connecting the dots mean, yes, going out into rural areas, doing the door-to-door knocking, because Democrats really do take a lot for granted. So, and by the way, to a fellow Knight, go Knights.
Go Knights, charge on.
Charge on. So,
I definitely agree with you. And I think Congressman Frost, Maxwell, also is part of that new generation of Democrats that are, again, just doing the work, not just the talking points, not just the interviews, but actually showing people that we care. And I think that is so important. I mean, in 2020, 2 precincts that voted for Trump voted for me. Mm-hmm. And it's not because, I share in a lot of Trump's values. I don't. But they saw me as someone that was delivering results and cared about them, regardless of their political leaning. So we really have to operate in that way. We have to give with an expectation and, again, just do the work. You cannot BS the work. You just have to do it.
Another thing, and I don't know if I have this in one of those questions, but we'll find out if I become a little bit too redundant, that when you guys go on MSNBC and CNN, a lot of people don't listen to MSNBC and CNN.
Right.
So you're preaching to the choir. That choir already knows all the notes and all the lyrics. You have to get out into, like, being on this platform, okay?
Absolutely.
So again, I appreciate it. So abortion rights advocates got the 1 million signatures for the amendment to be placed on the ballot. However, it would need 60% of the vote to pass. And I'm sure you know that the Attorney General for Florida, Ashley Moody, is ready and bubbling and waiting to challenge the initiative in the Florida Supreme Court, asserting the initiative is misleading, which it's not. What they did was misleading.
Yes.
What type of difficulties can the AG cause, and what is the game plan for the Dems to keep the momentum and ensure that the amendment is placed on the ballot?
This is another fantastic question. So
I got a lot of them.
I love it. I mean, first of all, we are really, really thrilled that we even collected the necessary signatures. And I think it's important to mention that out of the nearly million that were verified, 150,000 were signed by Republicans. And so you mentioned, so you mentioned the 60% that we need. The reality is that reproductive rights and personal decisions about your pregnancy are just that. They're personal, they're private, and even especially Republican women, don't want to see political interference. So I think that's a really important point, because if we're going to get to 60% in November, we can't do it without nonpartisan and bipartisan support. We need folks from conservative backgrounds, from culturally diverse backgrounds. I mean, many communities of color, especially communities within the Caribbean region, and families like mine that are Middle Eastern, like there are some very conservative values, right? So we also have to have conversations with our faith-based community, have conversations with our elders to really help people understand that this is an effort to restore privacy, to restore the freedom to make your own decision with your family, with your doctor, and with your God, and not with politicians.
I think the emphasis has to be placed on the other concerns that can happen if an abortion is not completed. And we have women speaking out about, going through, like for instance, I don't know what state she's at, Ohio, where she had the miscarriage in the toilet.
Right.
And they came and they tried to vilify her and make her a criminal.
They tried to prosecute her.
Prosecute her for something that is this happens to a lot of women. So when it happens, it ain't going to happen to just Democratic women. It happens to all women. And so I'm sorry, I get really passionate about certain things. And when I see when Roe versus Wade was taken away from us, or it was pulled, and I saw young women celebrating, this is such a good thing. And I'm like, you fool. This could affect you in so many different ways.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Jennifer. I mean, when I think about the current state of affairs in
You
Florida,
called me Jennifer, by the way.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Well, Code looked at me like, I'm just being real. I want to say hi to my UCF sister, Sylvia Idis, Mr. Olade Banks, who is in Texas, Wendy Modest, Marilyn Greaves, TK Flo, that's not her real name, but, and Mr. Michael Evulsion, and I don't think that's his real last name either. But, I'm sorry. It is what it is with me, Anna. What you see is what you get. And I
love it. Well, I just wanted to add to your point. In Florida right now, we have doctors that are allowing patients to become more sick before they can access the necessary care. So you mentioned, situations of very wanted pregnancies where women are being faced with difficult diagnosis, something they never expected, and the doctor cannot provide the care they're supposed to provide. They have to go get permission from the lawyers, in the hospital, make sure they're not going to break the law and be arrested. And it is endangering women, truly. And so you're right. At the end of the day, many people don't think they will ever be confronted with that decision. But the reality is you never know.
You never know.
In the face of pregnancy, abortion is healthcare. It is something that is so necessary to save lives. And I'm sure you also remember the case in Texas where a woman was trying to sue to, again, fetal diagnosis. This was not going to be a viable pregnancy. She eventually had to leave the state of Texas to go somewhere else to access care. And she had money to do that. Many of us don't. We don't have the resources to fly to a different state. So it really is an issue of life and death. And so this ballot initiative, it is transcending political lines. It is transcending cultural viewpoints and perspectives. But you mentioned Ashley Moody, and I really want to get back to that point because Attorney General Ashley Moody is trying to challenge this amendment language. And in her effort, like you said, she's trying to say that the language is unclear, that it's not, it's confusing to voters. And we are obviously pushing back on that. And she's trying to say that the word viability isn't explicit. But the reality is that Florida was a viability restriction state for 10 years. And so we've had no issues with defining viability for more than a decade. So we are going back to that point. We also have OBGYNs, medical professionals who have submitted briefs to the court on this point. But that is a fight we're going to be having on February 7th in the State Supreme Court of Florida. So
immediately I'm thinking of, do you remember when we all went to the ballot and we gave felons the right to vote?
Yes.
And then DeSantis came and did what he did and pulled that to the point where they wanted it, and a poll tax was applied to that, where a lot of felons still couldn't vote because they couldn't afford it. So I'm asking myself if this is a trick that Moody has up her sleeve that, okay, we clear the ballot, everything is good, we get that 60+%, and then they come up with something to make it difficult.
Moving goalposts.
A moving goalpost. Thank you, Code.
Yes. I definitely agree with you. And remember, not only did the legislature try to do this with rights restoration, and we're still fighting some of these battles in court, but even with medical cannabis, they intervened with the implementation of what the voters had wanted. Even environmental conservation dollars, they intervened as well. And so there's always a concern they're going to try something similar with this. I do think it's important to remind ourselves of the amendments where we've had success. So, for example, the $15 minimum wage that voters approved, they have not been able to interfere with that, even though they've tried. They haven't been able to. So we obviously have to have our guard up regardless of what happens, because you just can't trust this legislature. They continuously ignore the will of the people time and time again.
So thank you so much for that response. These next 3 questions is from Ryvan Campbell. He said, why is it that the Florida Democrats seem to not support each other? We never see the group in Central Florida together at a news conference or promoting the same ideas of other candidates.
Great question. So I would say that in Orlando, many of us are getting better at this. So in particular, if we look at the special election for Tom Keene over in District 35, which was a huge win, we flipped that seat from red to blue. That was only because we worked together. So Congressman Maxwell Frost, he hosted multiple canvasses and voter outreach efforts for Tom. My team did the same. We helped kick off phone banks. We did door knocking. We hosted a press event with Tom focused on reproductive rights. You saw more alignment with the state party and the local party. So I think District 35 was a really good example of collaboration in a way that we really haven't seen before. Having Congressman Frost is also really impactful because he and I both believe in that collaborative approach. And so he's actually coming up to Tallahassee soon. We're going to do events together in Tallahassee. So it is a fair criticism. I think the challenge is Democrats historically have been focused on self-preservation.
Democrats historically.
And not teamwork. Like
these old school people need to get with the movement.
Right.
I mean, this is not a question. This is a statement. And I'm sorry to crash your response, but again, this is my passion speaking.
I love it.
What we saw coming out of the election where Biden won, and this is a criticism, not to you, but the old school way of doing things. We saw an attorney general that was put in place, whatever his name is. What's his name? I forget. But we saw 4 years of being decimated culturally, mentally, because it was like a DV relationship that we had with that orange guy.
Right.
And you're coming out of it and you want something to happen instantly because of all the bad things that happened while he was president. And we didn't see anything until 2 years down the road. I'm like, when the thing about change is it has to happen as life is happening, and you have to change the way you do things. And the Democratic Party really, really, really needs to change the way they do things, because this was a purple state, now it's a red state.
Right. No, I mean, first of all, I love your passion, because you're 100% correct. I mean, Democrats have been, when we look at some of our primaries, right, and we have these really crowded primaries, everybody running for one seat. And then I look at other seats in the legislature and nobody is running for them. It's incredibly frustrating because we need more people to run in local races. But when everyone is just so focused on these congressional races and these crowded primaries, we're wasting money, we're wasting talent, and we're wasting time. And Republicans, they get out of the way for each other. If it's someone's time, to run for governor, a lot of people, they move aside. They allow that to happen, right? And we just keep stepping on each other. So I really do think that we have to be more strategic. We have to be more long-term. We have to think more long-term. And we can't just be focused on ourselves. We can't be focused on our own self-preservation. That is one of my biggest criticism, is that everyone operates in a situation of scarcity. They pretend like there's only this one time and this one race to get it right. And in reality, we have each other, and we have so much to do. There's no reason to be competing, right? We have so much to do together.
So I'm smiling because that's what took place. That's why we're stuck with DeSantis, because I remember back in the day when Charlie Crist was running, and then you had Meeks running, and Scott was running under the Republican ticket. Now Meeks could have stepped back because he was young, okay? He had enough time to just, you know what I'm saying, but he split the vote between him and Charlie Crist. We got stuck with Scott, 1 term, 2 terms, and then you had the next. By that time, the damage had already started happening. It was already cracking. So yeah, they need to really support one another. So it's nice to know that they're learning that lesson through you guys, the younger folks. Yeah, good.
Well, let me tell you. I mean, to that point, right? Like when Maxwell was running for Congressional District 10, I was in Congressional District 7 before, right? But then with the redistricting, I'm now in his district because all the lines changed. And there were a lot of people that wanted me to run against Maxwell for that congressional seat. And I was like, listen, Maxwell's already running. He's doing an amazing job. So I endorsed him. I was like, I'm going to support him. I'm going to get him to the finish line. So that's just one example of, like, again, lifting up new voices, not being focused on you and your self-preservation, and thinking about the greater good, thinking about what is in the best interest of your community. And it's up to us to make those decisions, right? So I definitely agree with you. I think a part of it is just getting out of our own way, stop competing with each other, and think about what is the best interest of all of our communities.
Good. So I'm going to try and not crash your responses, because just decrease my passion a little bit. The second question.
You're doing great. This is so much fun.
The second question from Riven is, during the campaign, each candidate sends out information on the candidate when the election is over. The candidate never reaches out to update the general public. And he says, like, why? He said, their answer is always go to my website. And he said that will no longer cut it.
Oh man. I mean, these are all really fair questions. These are really fair questions. I mean, so, when I first ran for office, one of my goals was to redefine what it means to be a public servant, and what it means to be a Democrat. And so from our team, we value not just, the initial visioning and campaign promises, but we do prioritize keeping our community connected and updated, and proving to our community that we're actually doing the work. And I'll be very candid with you, Lyman. Like, we don't have the ability to get everything we want in the state legislature. Like, right now, one of the biggest issues is property insurance. And we have co-sponsored and helped write many property insurance bills, right? Are they moving right now in the Republican legislature? Not yet. And so we're going to keep pushing for movement on that. I can't get these bills heard unless I engage with the community. Because at the end of the day, my one voice in the Florida Republican legislature is not going to be enough to push a bill forward. And so if I'm going to be an effective lawmaker as a minority, I have to work with the community. I have to lead by example and inspire others to get involved. So that is my responsibility. I get so frustrated when politicians say it's not my job to get out the vote, or it's not my job to inspire you to vote.
Wait. Some of them actually say that ish?
Oh yeah, in Orlando. I have heard Democratic politicians say that that's not my job. Y'all should know better. Y'all should know to vote. And it's like, I'm sorry, when we have decades of corrupt politicians that have disappointed people, why would you expect them to come out to, why would you expect everyday people to come out to vote when the perception of politicians is very negative, is very corrosive? So we do have to prove that we are worthy of your vote, worthy of your support. And so one thing that we do during legislative session, I put out a weekly update every single week during legislative session. We knock on doors to not only keep folks updated to what we're doing, but to invite them to our community events. We're going to start rolling out text message updates as well to our constituents. So we really try to leverage not just our volunteer strength, but our tech options, right? Our technological tools to talk to people more frequently. And of course, social media is such an important resource. We're very active on social media in an effort to close the gap, between constituent and politician. We try really hard to make ourselves more accessible and more available.
Okay. So, I mean, this is not one of his questions, but this question is kind of like, it fits. It's like a segue. What you just shared there is a segue into this question. How do you build a trust in an electorate that feels used and taken for granted? One of the things we hosted, the People's Chat Room hosted a town hall during the last primary. I think that was last year. I forget. Yeah, last year. And one of the things that I said every now and then in the midst of the town hall was, when you win, have a quarterly town hall meeting so that you can keep the citizenry abreast as to what is happening. Now, you may not be able to attend, but I'm sure you have aides that can represent you, and they could have you on a video somewhere, because it goes hand in hand with what you just said there, because we heard it all before. And we want to hear something different. We want to hear that we can trust you. And when I heard you say that there's some Orlando politicians that have said that, they didn't say it on the mic. Because if they said it on the mic, they would be thrown under the bus, rolled over, back and forth, back and forth. You can't think like that about people, because you wanted us to vote for you the first time. So in order for us to vote for you again and again, don't be saying things like that, because it just continues to erode the trust. So, Miss Anna ESKAMANI, my fellow knight, I got one more question for you before I let you get out of here, because I know we've got to pass the time. And before I share that last question, and this question is it's two more questions I have. Okay. I want to thank you again for being on the show, because you didn't know what you were stepping into, did you?
No idea, but I'm here for it. I am so here for it. And I want to come back to you. This has been amazing.
Yeah, well, you're doing a good job. I got to tell you, you're doing a good job. So this is the third question from Ryven. He said, many persons in Florida are independents. I'm one of them. I'm no longer a registered Democrat. Left a long time ago because I was up to here with it. Since both Republicans and Democrats do not court the independents until the general election, can the Democrats find a way to reach the independents and speak to their needs?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually think our district is a really good example of this. So my district was a Republican seat that we flipped from red to blue in 2018. And a part of that was talking to our MPAs and building trust with our MPAs. And as you know, I mean, you're the living example of this. NPAs or independents are one of the fastest growing demographics of voters, because people are disenchanted by the two-party system. So I think a part of it is, again, that elected official can't just talk to one audience. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to talk to every type of voter. And I knock on doors, in areas that have Trump and DeSantis signs. And I mean, I'm not even kidding. I've knocked on neighborhoods where they're split, like, almost 50-50 or split third, like, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. And they're very interesting neighborhoods to knock on, because you just don't know what you're going to get. You have some households that are mixed, right? So maybe there's a Republican married to an independent or what have you. So you have to be willing to listen. I think that is key. Don't make assumptions about what people want to hear or what they care about. You have to ask, what keeps you up at night? What are you most worried about? What do you want to see from your legislature? And when you start with those questions, it can really help open up the door to build that trust. Now, I will say, NPAs in particular, we can't just come to you during campaign season. You shouldn't come to anyone during just campaign season. And this is a problem even with Democratic voters. Like you just said, you hear from them when you want to vote. They come to your churches when you want to vote, and then you don't see them any other time of the year, right? So it's so important to not fall into those stereotypes and to do it differently. Go to church every Sunday, knock on doors even when there's no campaign. Invite people to your town halls, host town halls. My goodness, like we've actually already scheduled our virtual post-session town hall, and we're in the process of scheduling the in-person locations as well in March. So it does require planning, on the side of that elected official, but you just can't take it for granted. You have to treat all of your constituents like gold, like treasure. And part of that is, keeping them connected and being available and helping solve problems. If you just show up during campaign season, you've already lost.
It's not going to work.
And you deserve to lose. You deserve to lose. True. If that's how you approach your job.
So I have one more question, but before I ask the question, I was talking every now and then. Me and my guy, we talk about, he watches MSNBC, and I'm like, enough of it. I'm over it. But the thing is, I said to him, it would be nice if Biden, because he depends on his surrogates, you guys, to get the message out. But one of the things that would be nice that he can do is randomly pick a TV station and make it a day in the life of Biden. Let them follow him, so they could see what he does on a daily basis.
I love that.
There's certain things that obviously they wouldn't have privy to, but they'll have an idea of, hey, he's going into behind these closed doors to do da-da-da-da-da-da. A day in the life of, and he could do that for at least a month or two, every week or every other day, pick randomly. You know what I'm saying? So that way they could see what he's doing, have an idea. It's not just, he ain't just, but anyhow, I digress.
I love that. I love that point. I mean, so many people have no idea what Biden is doing. And there's a lot of criticism, and trust me, I have my criticism too. But at the same time, there are so many programs and initiatives coming out of the Biden White House that nobody even knows it's Biden's vision or Biden's plan.
Because Democrats are not good at messaging. They suck at messaging. And he needs you guys. The young ones are the ones that we look to, because the older ones, they really need to retire, okay? Because straight up, you know what I'm saying? To get the word out. So, last question. Why has the Florida Democratic Party been so slow to respond to Ron DeSantis and his executive actions and daily reconstruction of the state? Their delayed responses have seen a purple state turn deep red. Nikki Fried is stepping up. She's the new guy in town, and she's stepping up.
And it's getting better.
It's getting better, but a lot of damage has been done,
Right. I mean, this goes back to your previous question around working together, right? And why Democrats are so divided and hosting their own press conferences, not collaborating. And I think the problem is when you have individuals that feel like they're competing with each other, they don't want to work together. So you end up having dueling press conferences or people, saying bad things about each other versus working together for the same goal. And so I think that there is an intentional effort to put away past tension. Because at the end of the day, there's going to be drama. You're working with people, different backgrounds, different personalities. But I think many of us, and I'll speak to myself, not allowing any past history to impact the future. So we're putting any type of tension or conflict or drama to the side. We're ignoring it, and we're focusing on the goal in front of us, which is to get out of the super minority, which is to flip seats, which is to help elect thoughtful, energetic, creative, and effective leaders into positions of public office so that we can change the direction of our state. But I remember the Democratic Party, DeSantis would do something crazy and they wouldn't respond for 2 days, right? And it was just so embarrassing. Yeah,
because the thing is, we've gotten to a point where because there's been no pushback, then people who already had a poor idea of what is going on, those those thoughts, that those ideas or what they're seeing become concrete in their minds because nobody's pushing back.
Right.
And that's the state we're at, not just in Florida, but I think even nationwide. The Democratic Party has allowed and I don't want to say the left and the right because we're all one country, but they've allowed certain narratives to take form and become concrete in people's heads. And then not to try and dissolve that, you're going to have a hard time because they believe what they believe already because you didn't say anything when it was happening. You know what I mean? So
really,
I'm hoping that we're in a new era and Nikki Fried is doing things differently, and we're wrapping it up here. I just want to thank you again for being on the People's Chat Room.
I would so love to come back. So you tell me when, and I'll be here.
You tell me when. I mean, you tell me when because I'll reach out to Madison and let's see if some months down the road if we could set it up again. And I'd love to give a legislative update once we get to the end of session too. Like you said, it's so important to keep our community. When is the end of session 2?
So legislative session just started 2 weeks ago and goes for 60 days. So it'll end on March 9th, I believe is his date, March 8th, March 9th. So love to come back and give an update.
I would love that. I would love that. And you make me feel like if we need to plan a town hall, it's up to Code because a lot is put on his shoulders. This is my right hand right here,
Hi.
Hello.
The other one is not here. He's in New York. But this is my right hand right here. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
we would love to have you back, and let's see what we can do down the road because and you're for District 47.
It was 47, but then the numbers changed, so it's
you're
42.
42. Wait a second.
Yeah, so our old district was 47, and then when redistricting happened, the numbers moved around. So our district includes, basically we go from Semron on the east to I-4 on the west.
I'm in your district.
Where are you? That's great.
Yeah, I'm East Orlando, off Goldenrod between Lake on the Hill and Curry Ford Road.
I think you might be. Yeah. Because we go all the way down to Conway, Belle Isle, Edgewood, Pine Castle, and then we go all the way up to Winter Park, Maitland, and the historic town of Eatonville.
Well,
so that's our district.
I'm fighting for you because
I love it. It's fabulous.
You know, this changes things a whole lot, right?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
completely, totally. We're basically sisters now.
We're basically sisters. Knights, sisters. I'm in your district. I'm just loving this. This is good stuff. This is the stuff
what did you study? What did you study at UCF?
My bachelor's was in marketing and sociology communication. So I was
that's cool.
I was all over the place. And then my master's is in social work. So by profession, I'm a clinical therapist.
Wow, that's amazing. Can I share a very quick update about sociology? Okay, so I don't know if you know this, but the Board of Governors, which is the administrative arm of the state university system, this coming week they're going to vote to ban DI programs from universities, and it gets worse. It gets worse. They also want to remove sociology as a prerequisite class. Because I took sociology as a freshman because it was one of my
sociology's life.
It's such an important discipline and class, and they want to remove it as an option for general education. So it's very, very upsetting. They already did it for state colleges, and now they're going after state universities. So
this is because of DeSantis.
Correct, and he thinks sociology is dangerous and. Basically, they don't want students to learn about disparities or how society operates. So they want to remove sociology as a general education course, which is going to hurt the majors and minor programs because most students won't even know about sociology. So nobody will study it in the future.
Hey, I remember when I was in my undergrad year, my professor back then, which was obviously decades ago, that's when I learned that Supreme Court justices were in for life. Didn't know then until then. But let me ask you this question. Let's say the blue guys retake the Florida legislature. Can that be reversed?
Great question. Yes. So we would have to, first of all, when we flip the legislature, I'm going to say when.
Yeah. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Manifest this. It won't happen while I'm there, but when it happens, we would have to repeal a lot of bad bills. So this attack on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and sociology comes from a bill from last session known as House Bill 999, Senate Bill 266. And so that law bans these programs, and now the Board of Governors is implementing the rule. So if we repeal the law, then there is no more rule by the Board of Governors. So we would have to repeal a lot of bad policies, have a governor willing to sign those repeals, right, into law, or we override a governor veto if we had enough people to do that.
That will happen in the next not in the next legislative session, but DeSantis is out of power in 2026. He cannot run again unless he has to skip. So I'm putting it out there in the universe that the next governor will be a Democrat. It's just going to happen. We have to speak it into existence. So let's do it. Okay?
We do.
So we will see you we will see you at the end of the legislative session so you can come on and give an update, my sister.
That would be perfect, my sister. Thank you so much for having me in the People's Chat Room. This has been awesome.
Thank you so much for saying yes. Have a blessed weekend, okay?
You too. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Florida Representative Miss Anna ESKAMANI. I sure hope you guys learned a whole lot, because I did. We were able to get some really good questions in. I got to thank Mr. Ryvan Campbell for the 3 questions that he sent me. Good stuff. So I'm going to turn you over to DJ Code Red so we can have some music.
Since I'm small, I never miss you, babe. Monday and Tuesday, oh, not at all. Oh, Lord. So don't tell me nothing when still back knocking and start the jam. Me always find rocking. I feel like the wine or something inside the band. Every man hold on to a woman and we shouting. Anyway, you're calling me name. You're calling me name. And when they talk about jump up and pull up, pull up, make enough girl turn up the waist and calling me name. They calling me name. Come here, my baby. Come, let me show you niceness. Caribbean queen, you whine and you look the tightest. Come here, my baby. Come, let me show you niceness. Caribbean queen, you whine and you look the tightest. Sweet like a Julie mango. I just want to taste and jam you. I don't want to wine and jump you. So come let me slam the bamboo and hear what she have for man too. I don't really care, I have to wind up like a crazy wacko. She man watching wait, wacko. Mamacita, give me peace now. I'm begging you please now. I will never leave ya. Mamacita, give me peace now. I'm begging you please now. I will never leave ya. Mamacita, Mamacita, give me peace now. Mamacita. Just take a shot when you see me there.
Sharon Lafayette, how you doing, Sister Sharon? Hollister Smith, David Goddard, and Natasha Negron. Thank you for checking us out on the Facebook live stream. Tomorrow Island Rhythm Radio is doing their thing every Sunday. Sharon, I think it's at 12 o'clock. No, 2 o'clock. Yeah, I'll get the time, but tomorrow Island Rhythm Radio is on.
Hola, don't pack my bag and I'm ready to wait till line by the mask out. Pull up me on with friends bang, get drunk and wine on a bar bar. Ready to open mouths with no shoes, watching the girls in costumes. There's so much people and bacchanal out there, bacchanal out there, bacchanal out there. This is the greatest carnival out there, carnival out there.
love the whole lot to Napuna. Some people them don't even know what's a writer. If I start to boast, all you go tell me alright now. Now you're right now. But if you want tell them start to roll, everybody to come out, they whole coming. Now yeah. Look people inside this fence. We don't start, we ain't done yet. You know you love how cooking you all night, you can't forget. So tonight I want to see every hand praising. Like we praising. Everything's so much sweeter when you vex with your lover and we celebrating. Feeling amazing. Jump up from every corner. Take a vex with your lover. Tell somebody.
People don't like soca music. I don't get it. People don't like soca music. I just don't get it. Island Rhythm Radio is on from 2 to 5 every Sunday.
Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. You go see thing again. Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. This is not the end. We time coming back again. It's so much my heart could take. I feel like I'm born again. Freedom at last. Raise your glass. Whoa, you can't live in the past. So look for where madness. David Rudder say. Look for where shirt off any people place. Look for where real girl and it's only ways. Look for where by the end they go put we name in the Hall of Fame. Soca Hall of Fame. We in the Hall of Fame. Why? It's the culture we defend. Hall of Fame. Soca Hall of Fame. We in the Hall of Fame. When it comes to party, spirits have me under it. I don't want no limit. When I come, this is no visit. Every place we look to conquer it. Hey, give me a rhythm champion. I want to get high like Superman. I don't care about race or religion. One love is the mission. So yeah, babe, don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. It's me time again.
Good stuff.
Don't worry, lover. I know you're missing it. It's our whole mood. When we started. How we go jump till morning. Look the moon don't see
Road march.
till the last drop of a canal is madness in the capital. So I feel like I'm running town again. Jump and shake the ground again. Live with all my friends and them. No place like home. I feel like I'm running town again. Jump and shake the ground again. Live with all my friends and them. No place like home. Now is the time for we to jam on somebody. Hand up in the air. Madness everywhere. It in with DNA. To get on bad when we on the roadway. We like we own way. Tell them freedom in with DNA. When every hand
Road march.
we become one.
Who say road march? Come on, go. This is the road march for 2024. Trinidad and Tobago Carnival.
You feel so? You feel so? You feel so?
Yeah, yes.
You feel so?
Yes.
Why you feel so? Why
Because
you feel?
I
why
like
you feel
it.
So? Why you feel
And the
so?
song, it's in with DNA.
Why I like this song? Any island can sing this song.
That's true.
It has nothing. If you didn't know who the artist is, you can throw your own feeling, your
Right
own
about it. I didn't
island
think of
into
that.
this song. It's in your DNA. Wherever you from, it's in your DNA.
It's the mass and we. But
It's the
only
ma-
Trinbagonians can say, is the mass and we. I ain't
No,
nobody
no,
else.
you don't say that.
yeah.
You can't
I
say
just-
that.
I
You
just
cannot
said
say
it.
that.
I just
But you're wrong to say that.
No,
You're
I
wrong
ain't
to
wrong
say
to
that.
say that. No,
You're
place
wrong to-
like home.
Right then.
Home. Road march.
Now is the time for we to jam on somebody. Hand up in the air. Madness everywhere. It in with DNA. To jump up, play a bass, wind up in the van. Free up, live your life, and do whatever you like. Party nice, let me go.
This is for you, come outside to jam. People jump
vacation, Marilyn. And Sylvia Yadis is saying, good afternoon. I love both of you. And you know that we love you too. She loves Anna ESKAMANI. Sil, she's a night girl. She's a night. Marilyn, yes, thank you. It was an awesome conversation. And she was very, very forthcoming. She was just very candid. And I appreciate that. She wasn't thinking what to say, right, Code?
No, you can tell.
You can tell. She was coming on the real.
Well, you kind of hit her with a couple uppercuts, but she recovered from, she recovered well.
Heather Cowan is watching us. Thank you, Heather, for checking us out on Facebook. She had a couple uppercuts from me, but she handled herself well.
She kind of... and then she come back. Yeah, then she back up against the rope and she came back forward. She bounced back.
So she wanted to come back in a couple of months.
Ooh,
so that's
she like
good.
pain. She like pain.
Now we're gonna be nice because we were nice today, Code. Right? Come on, acknowledge we were nice. So we want to remind you that
we owe you. You want help. You want help. All right, I'll give you help.
All roads lead this evening to the Junction Restaurant and Bar, which is on West Colonial Drive, because doors open at 5 o'clock for the celebration of life for Mr. Ricardo Drew.
Yes.
So come, bring your vibe. It is FREE free. You don't have to pay to come in, but if you want food or drink, you gotta pay, because it is a restaurant. It is a business place. So we encourage you to purchase your sustenance. So we're there from 5 to 9 today, to 5 to 9 p.m. tonight, and obviously you can stay on afterwards when the Junction goes into their regular business vibe. Bring your niceness, bring your vibe. It's all about Ricardo Drew. We want to celebrate his life and his music. Our family members will be there. I ain't gonna tell you who. We're restricting photos. I'll let you know that from now. All
right. So I was given a job, ladies and gentlemen. I was given a responsibility. So if you see me acting like an asshole, it's because I am naturally an asshole, but I'm letting you know. You can take, how should I put it? Be mindful, be respectful. And if I come to you and I say, please don't do X, or please don't do this, please note, I am not doing it for my sake.
It's coming from a place of
love. So don't let me get out or into character. When you see me in public, I'm out of character. I mean, I'm nice, I'm calm. In character, I'm an asshole. Don't let me get in my character. If I tap you on your shoulder and say, yo, please don't do that.
Photos.
No photos.
All right. So just come bring your
respect
vibe.
that, please.
And enjoy yourself. And it's all about Ricardo Drew again. And we'll see you this evening at the Junction Restaurant and Bar. Remember that this show is going to be in repeat mode this evening. Dominique, you're going to have to press play on that because we'll be at the Junction. And it's going to be in rebroadcast on Soca Passion TX and tomorrow on islandbeatradio.net. We have some good things coming on the pike with the People's Chat Room. Stay informed because we coming. This is 2024. I'm going to turn it back over to DJ Code Red. You all have a blessed evening. We will see you back on the air next week, Saturday, and this evening at the Junction, 5 p.m. Ricardo Drew.
Show me where you drink it. Whining, come on, you drink it. Whining, drink where you drink it. I am a brother, whining, whining, come on, you drink it. Show me where you drink it. Whining, drink where you drink it. Where we going? Up inside the jam. Whining, whining it. Whining, whining it. Whining, whining it. Where we going? Up inside the jam. Where we could whine and break away. This thing is part away. Go do this every day. I'm whining low, my eyes closed, cause I feel like letting go. So when I start to roll and the vibes start to flow, I wanna know them y'all.
Ian Williams, hello.
Agent 009, Travis Wood.
It's true.
They call me Bond. Father Bond. Agent 009. It's true. may not be your cup of tea. I may not be your cup of tea. What works for you may not for me. Everyone that smile in your face is not your friend. Wait a minute. Let that sink in. I learned pretty early. You can't please everybody. Some will love you and some go hate. You could do everything right and they still won't like you. So tell them respect my lay. I don't need you to love me, no way. Cause I love myself. And I don't care if you rate me, it's okay. Cause I rate myself. I'm so confident in me. I know I see baddest thing, respect my lay. I know I was born to win, so tell them keep moving. Go away, go your way. Go away, go your way. Go away, go your way. Come and tell me.
It's all about Ricardo True this evening at 5 to 9 p.m. at the Junction. We'll see you there. Remember, it's free to get in. Please, just bring your vibe. Okay, bring your vibe. Let's have a good time as we celebrate this young man's life and his music. Okay?
Good night.
Yeah, we gone. See you later.
Later.
Bye.
She wants to get nice and slow. I popped and ready to go. But before we start the show, baby, you got to go down low. So go down from the front, go down.